the worst pain in your life isn't what happened or what others did really, but you expecting something to happen and that's not coming true. Instead of your expectations, something so opposite happening. That's how you get hit in your psyche. That's betrayal and trauma, and it shatters the foundation of your knowledge of reality. That's why it feels so soul-breaking, and it makes you doubt everything that you know, and it makes you doubt every decision you made until that point, and it makes you feel truly lost. That's where the biggest pains of your life come from. And I'm not blaming you because you can't possibly know what's going to happen around you. But you can control yourself. Only by controlling yourself, you can lessen the pain in your life. There's pains you can't avoid, but these ones you can. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to teach you how to wield that power. In the last video, we talked about how an emotionally drained you derails into depression, and how learning to redirect that emotion helps you get into the right places, how it can stabilize your day-to-day life. And that plays into giving you a better control over your expectations. Because the more tired you are, the higher expectation you will have of an easy way out. Lottery prize, a love encounter, or a trick that solves all your problems. Life isn't like that. Sometimes it just keeps relentlessly kicking you, and some days it leaves you alone with you wondering where it is. It's a messed up relationship, I know. But know that as long as you keep building, it's mathematically impossible for you to have nothing after many events. For that, it's important that you learn how to have a stable rhythm beyond what happens around you. And one of the ways to do that is to expect results closer to reality. Because if you keep being hurt and disappointed with everything that happens around you, it will be very hard for you to find motivation to do stuff. And worse, if you are depressed, you will end up in the hole we know all too well. And you will see your life crumbling bit by bit without you being able to do anything about it. But I'm here telling you that you don't have to go through that despair ever again. It's just a matter of controlling what to expect from the environment around you and building and preparing accordingly. So let's start. So the first step on how to deal with your own expectations is to learn to do nothing. No, I'm not saying not to act. Not just that, but don't even react or think. Just stand there waiting. Allow the world to give you more evidence to study. Because if it really is the big love of your life or the best friend you will ever have, they will keep being there and they will show you why they should be in your life. And if they aren't, they aren't. But it's not because of you. And since you expected nothing, there's nothing to go through. But stop assuming things without proof. Allow others to give you that. The hardest thing for you to do here is actually you. Controlling your own feelings. Because I'm sure, like many of us here, we got into relationships because we were lonely and we got disastrous results. We, at some point, allowed our own uncontrolled expectations to take control of us and believe in stuff that there wasn't any proof to believe in, just to end up feeling betrayed in the end. A good example of this is teenage love. Although a teenager doesn't have any qualities to motivate a long-term relationship, like maturity, money, or wisdom, because they didn't have the time to develop them, yet they always believe that the love they have in that moment, it's the love. It's for life. Yet, most teenage relationships fail. And in the end, that's why those are the ones that we don't forget. The breakups that hurt us the most. Because we believed in stuff that at that time didn't have any basis in reality. And when in reality, we were just horny and lonely looking for validation. That's why you should base your own expectations on reality and not on your feelings. And no, I'm not saying that you should expect the worst out of others. I'm saying to expect nothing. You don't have to. Save yourself from an emotional roller coaster that you have no idea how it ends up in. Learn to wait for the information you need to move forward. Be kind enough to yourself to give yourself a moment and judge things properly. Hey, if this is helping you, consider subscribing, liking, or sharing to help me back. And it's not just me. Help spread this content in order to help other people. This is how a little gesture that comes from you can be meaningful. And this is one of the little ways that make you stop feeling so powerless against your depression. Now let's get back to the video. So the second step of managing your expectations is to base your expectations on what you experience. Like instead of looking at your worst moments like it is something painful and running away from them constantly, use them as reference. Study them and understand them beyond yourself, like other people's point of view, their logic and their motives behind it. Although people say to go out there because you never know, truth is people aren't that different from each other. We are interest and energy saving based. It's cost of investment and reward. It's a biological directive. The reason why others say that is to keep you motivated to go out there. But I believe humans are social creatures, so you will always yearn that. But like I always say, this doesn't have to be a game where you are always at mercy of others. In your experiences is key to hold that power. Like if you know how something plays out and where it ends up, you become able to know where's the points where you can change the results. Like for example, let's say you were a bit too friendly with someone you just met and you got a bad response. So by using that experience, you can conclude that there's a limit of how you can be when meeting someone new, right? And that gives you the ability to adjust your behavior in order to be friendly with others, instead of thinking that the other person is in the wrong and leaving you hoping for a different person. When you base your expectations on your own experience, that gives you a much better feel of what behavior is acceptable with most, giving you a better chance at relationships, while at the same time giving you a much higher level of confidence and attractiveness, because your process is based on real experiences and not on feelings. You can't fake that. That's an expectation that is tied to reality. Then it just becomes a matter of stacking the knowledge and the experience and improving until you reach your goals, hurting yourself much less because your expectations are based on reality, and having a sense of balance while you improve. Every experience is a number, and the frequency of it puts you closer to guessing the result. So the third step is actually the most important in this guide, and it's about picking which expectations are really the best for you. It's about learning to have expectations on the things that benefit you the most, and not everything, because there's not enough hours in a day for you to consider everything. And if you try, you will just be left drained, leading you into depression again by the sheer amount of anxiety that comes from predicting the various outcomes. So one shortcut you can do here is, by using the experience we talked about before, you can more or less guess the best and the worst outcome, right? Then you can weigh them against each other and see if that expectation is even worth considering. Like for example, what's the best outcome of going to a party when you have work the next day? Will that be a place where you will meet someone that is serious about you? Will that be a place where you can make good work connections? Will that be a place that will give you something that is long-lasting in your life? And with this, you can rearrange your priorities according to your goals and help you stop wasting time on having expectations about stuff that benefits you by little, and getting you used to the habits of giving yourself to the things that matter to you the most. And that's really the truth about everyone that feels miserable and useless. You aren't useless, but mostly confused. And you have all these distractions going around you, and you build expectations of you that aren't based on reality while distracted. So the only thing you truly need in order to rearrange your life is time. And I can promise you, if you do this, you will get the life you wish for. Another side of this is learning of which expectations are better for you. Like, for example, if you always expect the worst for you, you won't be motivated to do anything, right? Because all that awaits you out there in your mind is the worst. So why even do it? And the pain and the tiredness and the lack of confidence come from you trying to distract yourself from doing the things that you should be doing. Like a quote I heard this week: "The magic you are waiting for is in the work you are trying to avoid." I will put the link for the video below in the description. So if you want to stop feeling lost and hurt, try to look at yourself from the outside and help that person be where it should be by putting the expectations on the right places. It will always be you who chooses to go or stay. So try to help yourself by picking where you should put your expectations on. Be the best for yourself. So in my next video, I will talk about the most difficult part about expectations. But how there are expectations in which you are absolutely right. They are the absolute worst and unavoidable. But not hopeless. Never hopeless. And I will teach you how to make the best of it. So subscribe, and I will see you next week.